Alrighty, and welcome to our first game of the series. Oh, thanks so much for the host, man. That's great. Thank you so much. Alright, as we go into the first game, we are going to instantly get hosted. Thank you again. On the left-hand side, we have the Cheese Crew, and on the right, we have Dank Broken Shower Society. They will get shortened somehow in this game, but we're going into Warhead Junction here. Malfield will be banned out here, so I'm wondering if the intent is because they want to go double tank and they know that it counters them, or maybe they just don't want to play against it. But at this point, so the Malfield is shown. They don't have first pick, so they're going to want to head and ban out something that maybe they're leaning towards on the side of Dank Broken Shower Society. So they're going to actually ban out Sylvanas. Sylvanas does provide very good push on this map, but that leaves the... This is going way too fast for me. They are going to be picking up the Dahaka here, so the global threat right off the bat, they're going to go ahead and lock that down. Now, this leaves Uther open on the other side, and it's... From what I've seen most of the time, it's either Uther's picked or Uther's banned. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see... Okay, so they're going to go ahead and get Falstead. So you run that... So the Falstead's to counter the Dahaka Global. Then at that point you say, well, what do we do with our second pick? We're going to go ahead and get our healer. That way we have to just worry about the tank on our second round. Nope, they're going to go ahead and actually pick up the Varian first. So they're gonna get Varian and Falset off the bat. Now to respond to that, Dank Broken Shower Society. What do? You have your Dahaka, you have a global hero. The Uther's still open. Falstead, I think you honestly go for... I'm thinking you would go into the Uther and the Anubarak, but it looks like they're going to go for the Vala, or excuse me, the Aria, which can be paired well into the Vala down the road. So it's a pretty well-rounded hero. She does provide really good utility during the fights, and the Anubarak does have really good dives and stuns. And the nuke points, when there are some 4-spawn nukes, which are difficult to have everyone respond to, and that's really what Dahaka is extremely will excel at extremely well. But at the same time, team fight wise, on the side of Dank Broken Shower Society, they've pretty much locked in like an offlaner, a main tank, a healer, and they can pretty much pick up whatever they want. So it's really hard to draft against us. Now, on the side of Cheese Crew, Vala seems like the easy option, but I wonder if they ban out the Greymane, actually. No, they're going to go ahead and ban out the Vala. And, well, I guess they have first pick. They have first pick after the ban phase, so they can pick up the Greymane themselves if they do want it, which... the Anubarak and Dahaka, I think you would go into the Greymane. The team fight that you're going to have with the slows, and I'm assuming the taunt from the Varian would pair well into a Greymane with the Cursed Bullet. So ban-wise, it looks like they could ban it themselves. Now, Vala was banned out because what I was relating to a little bit earlier. Do I have to clap in between Dank and Broken, and then make that creepy face in between Broken Shower and Society? But Uther's going to be banned out here. So with them having their Ariel, they said, you know what, we've got a healer. We're going to ban out another healer and just limit that pool so we don't have to deal with the stun, the cleanse, I don't play enough healers to know. I'm pretty sure Uther has cleanse. Someone in chat will correct me in about 90 seconds. And so... But even then, like, Redemption at 20 is just so powerful. And then D-Shield on what potentially could be a Greymane... Because it just makes sense. Like, you've got Illidan, I guess. The Illidan works really well here because he's just sticky. He survives quite well in a team fight. But the thing is, though, if Ariel lands the blinds onto him, the most blind character in the game will be more blind. And that's what I'm afraid of. They're actually going to go into the Malfurion as well. So they're leaving their... Huh. I kept talking about the Gray main, and I'm negating to mention, like, Falstad does scale, like, I punched my mic again. Falstad does scale pretty well throughout the game. And I talked about this in my last game, and this is just at least my opinion on the matter. Like, for example, like, Dahaka scales throughout the game very well. Just level to level, I think he's a well-rounded hero if he's played correctly. Falstad gets a burst of damage once I think he gets closer to finishing his auto attack build. So right around like the 13-ish area, it seems like that's when he really starts to deal the damage that you're looking for. So the Lily came out up against the Illidan. That makes complete sense. But the thing that I'm kind of like just starting to build towards here is like, you've got the Falstad, you've got the Illidan. Like, do you go Abathur at this point? Do you solo Varian with Taunt? And then, no, they're going to go Zagara. So, because the reason I'm thinking Abathur is because the fact that during the nuke phase, healers are not needed according to chat. During the nuke phase, the Abathur I feel like would be stronger because he could offlane and push a little bit harder. And with the rotations being so long, it'd be kind of hard to make a sneaky rotation onto an Abathur who might be a little far forward. I don't know. But at this point, we have our teams, and we are going into game number 1. All right, there we go. And with the smaller little version of myself, we are going in here. On the left-hand side, we have the Cheese Crew with Black Magic on Falstad, Chromelock on Varian, Dekro on Illidan, Daz on Malfurion, and Dirac on Zagara. On the right-hand side, we have Dank Broken Shower Society with Bolt Thrower on Ariel, Boozy on Anubrak, Pato on Zul'jin, Parnold Elmer. I was looking at that before, and I was just like, I'm going to screw that one up. On Dahaka, and Handasan on Lili. So the thing that it just that threw me off, and like I really wanted to get on that Abathur point because I was hoping it was going to be, but Zagara, I mean, I think Zagara does provide a little bit more push in the lanes, and that is really what I was looking for ultimately, is just some sort of push in the lanes. So I think it's honestly going to go over to Cheese Crew.
Battleground initialization in progress. Combat
because the Dahaka, yeah, you do have that global with the Dahaka, but at the same time, you have Falstad, who does have the what I like to consider the semi-global, because you can't really literally like you can't fly from top to bottom. You'd have to go at least a little bit into the vision of the watchtower, I believe.
10 seconds.
But the thing that I want to note here is that Zagara at 10 becomes a global hero. Illidan at 10, if chosen, and it's the same thing with Zagara, if chosen. Illidan at 10, if chosen, can also become a semi-global hero. So that's a triple threat in any sort of team fight situation. The cheese comes out from the Cheese Crew. That means it's obviously the start of the game. The Watchtower is going to be fought over because that is how you win these matches. And here we go into our first game between these two teams. All right, so just talking really quickly here, because we're going to have a lot of this first level skirmish, and I don't think we're going to be picking up on a fight. Maybe the Dahaka is going to take a little bit of damage, but he will be backing off here. Now, Falstad will be going into the auto attack build. We are seeing Varian taking a lot of those shielding talents that we typically see the Taunt Varian taking. Looks like the Zagara went for the Infest, but actually Falstad flying top right away is actually going to be getting the surprise onto this Dahaka, and the Varian coming from the shadows will be confirming the kill, so we're actually going to have the first kill going over to Cheese Crew. Now, backing in mid, just take a peek on this. Zagara has been spreading the creep pretty decently in this lane, and this will help out at least seeing the rotations for a potential flank or anything like that. Now, Zul'jin is rotating up because the Dahaka did have to leave that lane due to his death and everything. But with that, Lili is getting pushed in quite a bit in bottom by the Zagara. Now, she does have the blinds, and I believe as we can see right here, she is going to her Blinding Wind build. So she will be able to kind of counteract that Zagara a little bit. All right. So with the Zagara, I believe she will be in the kind of the perfect position, at least for herself. She does have vision on people coming in through this funnel here. I would expect to see maybe another creep tumor placed out just to get a little bit more vision, but she is really pushing back Parnold Almer. With the nuke coming up at this point, we are going to be seeing the first one going over to Zagara on the side of Cheese Crew, and it looks like Malfurion... Actually, this Illidan is going to confirm the kill onto the Lily, who was specifically drafted to really blind him out. Now, okay, so the Anub'arak does get the poke. That will buy a little bit of time. Falstad does rotate into lane to get a little bit more pressure here. Now, they do not have Soak in top currently, but the Falstad does have Fly. Where is he going to be going into? He goes straight into the gate, right against the Zul'jin. Ariel is coming up here, so she can heal him up with a little bit of hope she has. And they will be backing off here. Now, in bottom, we do have the Zagara pushing in quite a bit. And this Dahaka is taking a lot of damage. I don't know if he has Essence. I don't want to check because it just throws up the entire screen for a minute. But we have 2 nukes in bottom currently. So one's going to go straight into the keep. Or the fort. Actually, 2 are going to go straight into the fort. And we are going to be seeing this bottom lane getting pushed in extremely hard. Now, Dahaka is actually going to be taking a little bit of that damage. And potentially... Okay, I was thinking like little Groot over here was going to take a hit onto Dahaka and get a pick. This hard camp, or the soft camp, will be pushing up onto this keep gate. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage, if any at all, but it will take some of those tower shots out, which will be beneficial down the road. Zagara will be backing at this point to go refill mana and the health bar. So with that advantage, without someone in lane present, they can potentially push down into that a little bit, but unfortunately they are going to be having to clear the wave that's been pushed up so far. Now, Anub'arak is taking quite a bit of damage. He does get the burrow out. Ariel does get a little bit of healing on him, but unfortunately at this time... The one thing I kind of want to note here is they're running 2 healers together. This Ariel, I believe, should probably be top with Zul'jin. I would assume, be the battery for her in this situation, because it's not like anyone else is going to fill her bar really quickly. And then the Lily needs to be maybe up against that Zagara so that way they can't push. The Dahaka needs to be there too, but they do get the stun onto the Zagara. Dahaka gets a tongue and the... Ooh, this looks like it's going to be a falling Zagara. So with that, we are going to have the Malfurion rotating into bottom here just to get the soak. Illidan will be starting to work on this camp here. We should have another nuke phase coming up. I believe it's 145 after each phase, so he's probably timing that out with the nuke phase coming in, which I believe the second phase would be a 4 nuke phase. I keep saying that same word, so I'm going to stop. But either way... We're going to have Varian bullying up in this lane quite a bit. Now, he is against 2 healers, so this isn't really going to work out for him too well push-wise, because, you know, he won't be able to get an attack, and they'll just be able to live through everything that he can offer damage. So Illidan's actually already working on to this boss. He should be able to take this over time. Now, if they do notice him missing, they can check some of the lanes, or the other boss in bottom and some of the other camps, but... I mean, just like me, I was quite surprised to see him taking this, so maybe they would be a little ill-informed. And it looks like we're going to have the Varian just kind of... Actually, you know what? That's really perfect... I'm sorry, I missed that. It's actually perfect timing. I wanted to note that he takes the boss, because if his team says, like, all right, we're okay with getting, like, 1 or 2 nukes out of this entire 4 rotation, if you take boss, like, people won't notice because of the fact that everyone's going to be worried about nukes. That's a really smart play on their end. Now, Malfurion is down here. He should be able to get a root on top of this. Yep, they should be able to confirm the kill, potentially, but Anub'arak is here currently. He will be getting the stun out, and they will not be able to get a kill onto them. This will be a nuke going over to the side of Dank Broken Shower Society. Now, the boss is finally just picked up. I'm trying to read Twitch chat at the same time. Oh, man, just the salt in Twitch chat. Thank you. Love you. My mods are great. So, this nuke will be going down onto bottom, doing quite a bit of damage on the side of Cheese Crew. They do have another one. There is the 4-man in bottom, but at the same time, we do have a boss and a Zul'jin dying, and a hard camp still pushing in top with this Illidan and this Varian. So, they already have 10s. I just want to note that. Gust was picked up with the taunt, and that's probably what killed the Zul'jin. There's the hunt from the Illidan, the silence from the Malfurion, and the Nidus Network, as we talked about, from the Zagara. So, with that, they are literally just saying, like, we've basically at 10 got a triple global comp, and, you know, what are you going to do about it? Like, we're all over the map constantly. If they go on and engage, they have the Falstad to fly in, they have the Illidan to hunt in, that's a stun right there. And then you also have the Zagara, who can potentially do a Nidus network, but she will be probably off-laning for the majority of these fights. The Gust there was a very good disengage to make sure that that their team got away. The boss is going to get cleaned up. They did get a keep already at 7 minutes 18, about 7 minutes. So they'll go ahead and get this aggressive camp here. Zagara will start to push in here. They're going to rotate in quite aggressively for 2 of them, but they have their 10s already now. The 10s are achieved on the other side as well. We do have the Crystal Aegis and the Toss Dingo. Taunt does go out onto the Dahaka. The Crystal Aegis is there to protect him. He will be able to get away. Still hasn't chosen his ultimate yet. Nubrak did take Web Wrap, so look to see that probably going down on the Malfurion, maybe the Illidan. They want to kind of get rid of that combo. But 13's here. They can potentially take this fight if they really just kind of get the correct positioning on some of these members, but they have the vision from the ward from Malfurion as well as Gust currently, so their boss control is extremely strong. The Web Wrap will be a pretty decent utility, and I just also want to note that there is the Water Dragon from the Lili, the adaptation from the Dahaka. Okay, so they will not be going in for this invade. Dahaka will be in top currently with Ariel to clear this up. And very much so salt. So much salt. Alright, so we have this boss pushing into bottom. There are no nukes on the side of Cheese Crew, but they will be looking to push up with this boss quite a bit. Now, Varian is in the shadows. They do have the taunt onto the Zul'jin, who does not get his Dingo out enough in time, so they're going to go ahead and work down this gate while the boss is starting to push up. Falstad is in bottom currently, so he does have the flight to get into the lane once he gets the nuke, so he can literally get the nuke, fly up, place it, and just zone out with that, as well as get some damage. Now, the Web Wrap did come out into one of the members of Cheese Crew. It is already burned down. They get the taunt onto the Dahaka, who will be falling here as well. The silence does come out from the Malfurion. They get the kill onto the Ariel and the Nubrak. The nuke does come down, as we talked about, and this is going to be a second keep taken at 9 minutes and 25 seconds. And this is also a push with the boss, so they're looking to end at this point. Now, I do want to note that there are a couple members currently about to come back up, but with this taunt and the hunt literally within... Oh, but the Tostigo's used, but they get a kill. They do not, and this is a boss currently on the core. A lot of the members are up, but they are going to get gusted back into their core as well. So we are having the core falling at least to 50%. Most of the members are still alive on the side of Cheese Crew. Looks like they'll be taking this game... And game number 1 will be going over to Cheese Crew. GG, well played. All right, and welcome back to the game. I am Bahamut, your caster. We are going into our second matchup here on Brax's Holdout. Just need to put some players in so it will update my UI. There we go. Start round 2. All right, and here we go. So on the right-hand side, it actually got swept over. So on the right-hand side, I believe we have Cheese Crew, and on the left-hand side, we have Dank Broken Shower Society. So Cheese Crew will be picking and banning first. They're going to go ahead and actually ban out the Sonya here. It's really interesting because Sonya is a strong solo laner, but I wouldn't prioritize her over the Dahaka. If they were really looking to get rid of a major threat, they would maybe go ahead and ban that. So, Dank Broken Shower Society will go ahead and ban out the Illidan. That was one of the major issues they had to deal with in the last match. So, with that though, we are going to be having the Dahaka picked up on the side of... We're actually going to have the Gul'dan and the Ariel picked up here on the side of Dank Broken Shower Society. And the reason that is it just pairs really well together. 1, and 2, the Zerg wave is cleared very easily by the Gul'dan. So it's a strong combination just to get off the back, and you can hold that. Now, let's keep in mind that this is a 2-lane map. Cho'Gall is a viable option. The Ariel being picked up here might even actually be potentially leaning into that. So, against that, if there is the potential for the Cho'Gall, picking up the Uther is strong. I was thinking you might want to lock in the Greymane, just so that if they do go for that Cho'Gall and they do ban out the Greymane here, I mean, Curse Bullet, yeah, got nerfed by 5% on the last patch, and so it is only, no, it got nerfed by 5%. It went from 50%, no. Dude, it went from 50% to 45%, right? I have to look into that. Or I'll just be corrected in or I'll just be corrected any second. My mods are just having a blast right now, and it's too fun to look over. So the Kael'thas will be banned out here, and now the Kael'thas being banned out here is it's a smart choice because the Gul'dan was picked up for the wave clear, and Kael'thas does offer the same amount of wave clear that Gul'dan offers. He doesn't scale in the same way, and he doesn't. I was gonna say he doesn't have the same fight on the points, but I honestly think he kind of does. Kael'thas is at least enough a threat where they're gonna say we're gonna ban out that mage so you can't have him. At the same time, though, they are gonna ban out that Anub'arak. So if it is a Cho'Gall comp, they are gonna ban out the one tank that is typically paired with him. Now I don't know if that was just them saying like, all right, well, literally the Anub'arak pairs well with your comp, so we're gonna go ahead and just ban it out. But at this point, there's still like tons of heroes that really work well. Like Rexxar is great on this map. If you have someone who can play Rexxar, you can have them solo lane top and then literally just push face into bottom. Especially with the Gul'dan, he offers so much for a push if he really can be aggressive. But actually, the Ragnaros will be picked up, and it looks like on the side of Dank Broken Shower Society, they're really going to be pushing. Well, they're going to be getting a lot of wave clear and push. Ragnaros does offer a pretty decent wave clear, and he is a strong solo laner. So I'm wondering if they're going to put him in top lane by himself. Murden works well on this map. The attack speed reduction is a viable talent if they go into that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did take it. I was going to say you take the Greymane for the Cursed Bullet, and, you know, you can pair it in with the Stitches and the Uther, and then you just have maybe... I was going to talk about range damage at that point, but... I mean, come on. Probius? He's like the StarCraft Gazlowe. I mean, he's way better than Gazlowe. Like, before it's actually even, like, a bad thing, like, to say that. But it's just... his health pool's so low. But at the same time as when I say Gazlowe, is like if he gets his setup, like he is so difficult to deal with if he gets to set up in the lane. Oh, what's up, Wings TV? Also, major shout out to my mods who are just literally just posting back and forth to each other. But welcome to everyone in the chat. Here we go into our second game of the evening. So on the left-hand side, we have Dank Broken Shower Society with Parnold Almar on Gul'dan, Bootsy on Falstad, Hanasan on Murden, Bolt Throw on Ariel, and Pato on Ragnaros. On the right-hand side, we have Cheese Crew with Cromlock on Dahaka, Decro on Stitches, Daz on Uther, Black Magic on Li Ming, and Darak on Probius. So here we go into our second game of the evening. Let's take a quick peek at some of these level 1 talents as they get picked up while we load in with the next 30 seconds. Probius is actually going to be going into the Warp Reconnaissance. Uther will be going into his Wave of Light. Dahaka will be taking the increased speed, the enhanced agility, Ragnaros will actually be going into his E build. Typically we saw most people going to the Hammer build, I guess you want to call it, or Q build. So the E build is quite interesting. We are going to see the Fell Flame build from Gul'dan. That's quite often what you see on this map because of the fact that once you stack it up, you will be able to clear those waves a lot better. And not Anub'arak, Stitches will be picking up his Dampen Magic as well. And Falsta's actually going to go for Mage build. we are going to have this this aggressive posturing in top lane. Li Ming will be getting a little bit of damage onto these towers, but looks like Dank Broken Shower Society will be coming back up into top and just pushing up against this now. Dahaka did get stunned out by the Muradin, but there was no follow-up damage. Looks like Li Ming will be kind of coming around, trying to throw these orbs from places where they really don't expect them, trying to basically keep it really random, because if you literally just keep throwing the orbs from behind your teammates, they just expect them just to come from that direction. So if you're throwing them from these odd places like in this zone over here where she is, this is extremely beneficial to their team to really surprise them with this extra, explosion of damage. Now in bottom, just kind of looking at the mini map because I don't want to miss a kill that might happen up here. It looks like there's a really aggressiveness or some aggro happening here. But Probius was pushing Ragnaros quite in bottom, and now I think we have time just to check really quick. Looks like he is actually getting set up pretty well down here, and this is such a good setup for Probius because he just clears the wave, and then Ragnaros really has nothing to fight within. So back in top, we're going to be kind of just checking into that as best as we can. I'll try and keep an eye on health bars to make sure, but we are going to be having the first kill going over to Cheese Crew, and that is going to be on the Ariel. So at the same time, as I was talking about, this Probius is pushing into this bottom lane. He's already got one of the towers down quite far. He's doing an extremely good job, really just keeping this Ragnaros into the gates. And with the beacon phase starting here, they are going to go ahead and capture this top one. Probius will be moving on to the bottom. The Muradin does come in, trying to at least delay this a little bit, but unfortunately they've already captured this. They cannot move onto this any further. Falstad does fly into bottom. I would not be surprised to see the Probius getting killed here. There is the Falstad flank. The hammering is out, and that will be the Probius falling. Now, they do not get the kill on the Ragnaros, who is so low. But in the same time, in top, we are going to be having the Muradin having to use his Dwarf hop over the wall. The hook does come out, but it actually gets the Ariel instead of the Muradin. They do get the slam, but it misses. The tongue is there. No, they do not have it yet. So the Gul'dan will actually be kind of zoning them away a little bit with some of that. His trait. I can't remember it off the top of my head at this point. Hi, no-name person. I see you waving at me. Alright, in bottom lane, we are going to be having the Probius having to kind of restart his setup, his push, so that with the Falstad here, he really will have to play extremely safe. He's going to get some of these pylons out, get some vision, and maybe just get one of his turrets out there to kind of push up. We do have the Li Ming and the Dahaka pushing into this wave quite a bit. They do get another hook onto the Ariel. There's a stun follow-up as well. Li Ming does not have a combo to put out. There's an orb out, but it ends up hitting the Muradin. He has the Dwarf Hop out, and there will be an orb that he kind of bodies. I'm assuming just to save his Gul'dan from taking too much damage here. Now, at this point, we're having this extreme aggressive push, so we're just going to check into bottom, see if Probius is going to get ganked. It looks like he's just going to play safe here. Check into top lane. In the meantime, we'll just check into some of these questing talents. Looks like they'll actually be going for the... No, okay. Gul'dan's about, I want to say, probably more than 3/4 of the way through. Now, these hooks onto this are just really quick. Gul'dan getting just... I think it was like 2/3 of his health went from the orb missile combo. Then Stitches just got a slam and he died. So that was quite the kill onto the Gul'dan there. But they are going to aggress onto this point. They will try and capture it to get a percentage onto their Zerg wave as well, but it will not be happening.
Host connection detected. Routing auto feed.
Thank you so much for the host. Gamers of the Storm, thank you for hosting me. I just had to look around to see where the message came from. But thanks again for hosting me very much. So we are going to have this extremely hard push into top lane. Now, this is the Zerg wave lane for Cheese Crew, so they're going to have to, they want to push into this as hard as possible. At the same time, in bottom, that is the Zerg wave for Dank Broken Shower Society, so they're going to want to push this into this as well. We are going to have the... Okay. Ragnaros will fall, and that was a really, really good rotation from the Dahaka. He had the burrow. He waited for basically someone to be in the bushes waiting for the Probius. The Probius kind of put himself out of position, I believe, and then the Dahaka just burrowed in, got the tongue, and they just followed up on the damage. Really, really smart play on the side of Cheese Crew. In this top lane, though, we are going to have the Li Ming quite low on health. She will be able to put out a decent amount of damage, but they will go ahead and cap this in top. So they will prevent any more of the Zerg wave from being kind of collected here. Muradin is quite low on mana himself, but he does have his passive to heal himself up, at least with his health. They do get the stun onto the Li Ming. Oh my god, she was so close to dying there. I think if there was a corruption from the Gul'dan, they definitely would have got that kill. Sitches will be pushing this over to the halfway mark. So it just kind of forces them back onto the point. Now, in bottom, just want to check into here really quick. The Dahaka is already, is still down here. Probius, it has been set up back into his lane. He's pushing back up against these minions. Falstad is forced down there, so they only have the Gul'dan Ariel up here. Now, the Muradin does get tongued by the Dahaka. He has no health and no mana, but the Gul'dan gets killed, actually. So with that, that is going to be the top taken over by Cheese Crew. Excuse me, the Probius died in bottom. I was just about to go down there and start talking about, well, the Probius and the Dahaka, wait, he's in top. So they're going to go ahead and say, you know what, you can have our gate. We're going to go ahead and get a fort. This should push them closer to 10s, which will be extremely... this is just extremely beneficial to them because they can really just go ahead and get the Zerg wave. So they do get the tongue onto one of the members here, but it will not be able to yield a kill. Now they do get the pull onto the Ariel, which pulls her out of position. There is a kill onto the Falstad that gives the Li Ming the reset she needs, but it does connect with a minion from the orb, so she will not be able to get the secondary reset. She might have actually potentially gotten off the Muradin. But that is going to be giving them temps. She is going to go for the Disintegrate. There's going to be the adaptation from the Dahaka. The Pylon Overcharge? Pylon Overcharge from the Probius, the Gorge from the Stitches, and Divine Storm from the Uther, actually. So it looks like they're going to be utilizing that on these fights, and I was just about to say, man, that's really good for points, but they got a hook into a Divine Storm, and with that, Probius is going to be pushing into bottom. He uses his Pylon Overcharge to kind of zone this Ragnaros away, who will be rotating back into top, or back onto the point. Now, he does place another Pylon, but the overcharge is over, so he'll have to back off. They do get this point, but we're actually going to have the Muradin falling. I think the Muradin either was getting that or was trying to maybe defend. I don't know what they were going for there. Either way, they lost a hard camp, and it's going to be pushing up with the Zerg wave now. Ragnaros will be falling in bottom lane. The Dahaka... Okay, looks like they're just going to be pushing up with that. Dahaka probably doesn't have Burrow, because I believe he probably used it for bottom, maybe to get that kill on the Ragnaros. So we are going to be at least having the gate falling here. Now, the Ultralists are just making it up with the Guardians, but at the same time, Falstad, I think, was going in for a flank with the Gust. There is the Lava Wave, though, which will do a decent amount of damage to some of the members, demount them, push back the wave, a little bit of Zerg, but at the same time, this is 12 to 10. The Horrify was there, but I do not believe it connected into any of the members. The Stitches is so low. The hook is there. They actually missed the hook. Muradin goes into his avatar, trying to just clear up these Guardians, save the Keep. The Keep will fall to about a third health, and they will be backing on the side of Cheese Crew. Now, in bottom, we do have the Probius juking out this Ragnaros. Get out of here. There's no way he gets out of this. Oh, my God. Probius will use the Z and Hearth in the bushes. Oh, my God. Because he sees the Ragnaros in wave. No, don't. Okay, well, I'm assuming his teammates are coming down at this point. I wonder if they're going to go for an aggressive flank here. We do have Black Magic going in. Li Ming's actually really far forward here, but they do get a combo onto the Ragnaros, which will confirm the first kill, which does give a reset. The beam is back out again, but there is a gust for the disengage, but it ends up pushing the team into Muradin, and this is going to be a double kill. And with that, at this point, Cheese Crew can go ahead and get the hard camp, I'm assuming. Yeah, it looks like Probius is working his way. Actually, he's going to be probably over this camp here. So they will be going ahead and confirming the fort in bottom. And now the reason they're pushing so aggressive at this point is, one, because the Ragnaros is just getting up. The Muradin just got up as well. And they have the Zerg wave. I keep on saying zombie wave. I don't know why. The Zerg wave will be pushing in bottom next. Now they do have 13, so they do have the talent tier advantage. But at the same time, they do have a little bit more boss control on the side of Dank Broken Shower Society with the Gust and the Horrify. Gust is not available for another few seconds here. The Cleanse does come out onto the Dahaka, but we will have the Li Ming falling right away, so that is their main damage falling, and it looks like they're going to have to go ahead and disengage from this completely. The Murden does get pulled in. The Falstead's falling so low that they pop the Horrify just to make sure the Probius doesn't get on this. They do steal the boss away, though. Gust is there. They actually... it saves the Ragnaros. Oh, I was just wondering if the Pylon Overcharge was about to do a little bit of damage to the Falstead and kill him. But at the same time, they do lose the boss. They lost the boss. They didn't have 13s, and that's what I was talking about, boss control and the Horrify and the Gust. It's great. But at the same time, they did get this keep. So they bought enough time to get that keep, which is going to be beneficial to them. Now, top is gotten by the Stitches. They're going to go ahead and melt this down quite quickly. The Ariel went ahead and got bottom. It looks like they're going to go ahead and get the soft camp over here with the Falstead, have the majority of their team rotate up, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and try and fight this. Li Ming is back with the team. Probius is rotating into bottom lane. Murden is taking quite a bit of damage. There is the huge stun out from the Uther with the Divine Storm. That is the Ragnaros falling here. There's the Crystal Aegis onto the Murden, but we end up seeing him fall. So it's another reset for the Li Ming, so she should be able to get a beam onto the Gul'dan. He will be able to walk away from this. The Dahaka does not have adaptation or probably essence, but we actually see the... Oh, okay, because I was like, how did Ariel just die? Like, I was flabbergasted for a second. Ariel died because she was gorged, and then they just turned around and killed her at the last second. So that will be a 3 kill for nothing. Meanwhile, the beacon phase is going. They're going to rotate into bottom. This is going to be a 5-man with the Zerg wave, and they're probably going to go ahead and take, that Gul'dan. Luckily, that minion wave was there. This Falstead, though, did get caught out on the rotation, so the bird will fall. Now, in this lane, so we do have that Falstead who staggered the death, so they will be getting pushed in quite hard here. The Zerg wave is going to be starting to come up the lane here any second. So once they clear up this wave, this is going to be extremely good for them. Now, they do get the drag onto the Murden, who does give the reset onto the Li Ming, so she should be able to use the next Disintegrate to maybe get another kill. But the Ragnaros does use his Molten Core to defend this a little bit. They do get a huge swing on a few of the members, but the Horrify... Actually, excuse me, the Horrify is there. Pulls a couple of members of the forward, but they actually get the tongue on the Falstead. The Falstead actually gets away for 1 second. He has barely any health. They are falling so low. Uther is dying, but at the same time, we have to realize that dead Uther heals are probably pretty good. The Li Ming is getting reset after reset. Probius does die, but he uses his Pylon Overcharge to just at least push up against these towers. And this is quite a few members here falling. They do get gusted into this tower with the Pylon Overcharge. Did take care of most of it. They're going to go ahead and disengage here and lose only 2 members. So, they did get a keep. They did have an extremely strong push. They're going to B-step also. But it looks like on the side of Dank Broken Shower Society, they are going to go ahead, push them back long enough at this point to say, all right, you got to either backdoor us or you're going to have to, win a team fight. So they're actually going extremely aggressively. Without the Probius, they actually get a reset from the Falstead. That is actually going to be one of the members falling. It's going to be 2 of the members falling. The Ragnaros is dead as well. Murden is starting to chase this Stitches. Will he get the kill onto him? Stitches does not have gore, so he cannot utilize that. He does get the bite here, so that will be giving him a little bit of health. Some of the members are quite low, so they're not going to be able to engage on this chase now. There is the hook from the Stitches. There is no Pylon Overcharge. Thank you so much. Dahaka races in here. Oh my god. They get the stun and the oh my god. The stun from the Uther and the Divine Storms. They burn the 80-second cooldown to make sure that they get rid of the tank, and they're going to go ahead and push in with these 3 catapults and this Reaver? I don't know StarCraft units too well. I just know that it shoots missiles, and I don't like it. Plus, it gives vision, so you want to kill that first. But Probius is going to go ahead and get the soft camp here. It looks like he'll be probably starting this camp once he gets his setup going and his teammates finish up over here. And on the side of Cheese Crew, they've got really, really good map control at this point. They're saying, they have the talent advantage and they can force a fight, but it looks like they're really just doing the macro game. They're pushing up their lanes. They're making sure that they're set in all the lanes first. Then they're saying, all right, now we're going to try and, we're going to take our team fight here, because it looks like they're posturing aggressively for a rotation from the enemy team once they clear this bottom lane. So we have the Falstead clearing out this pylon. Does The hook comes out, so it gives away the position, but they do get the stun and the Divine Storm. Nope, there is no Divine Storm yet, so they do get a Horrify, and it's just reset after reset, but they also do lose to the Haka at this point. Daz is pretty low here, but they do get a reset. Another one that Ariel's falling as well. The Gul'dan takes an orb. The Stitches is there. Does he have a slam for the kill? The Divine Storm is there, and that's a team wipe, and it looks like these members of Cheese Crew are rotating onto the core at this point. And with this hard camp timed out quite well, it looks like they will be able to end the game here. The GGs are thrown out, and that is going to be the second game going over to Cheese Crew. GG, well played. You're welcome, guys. Good games to everybody, and I can't wait for next week.